Silver isn't scarce, and other myths. This is the headline from one of Peter Schiff's recent blog posts. I want to go over this first part here. Silver isn't scarce, because a lot of people have been saying recently, look, silver is an industrial metal. It's not even strategic or critical. It's not rare. And basically what he does is he breaks down silver's rarity as compared to other metals. Let's get into this. Buy your gold and silver online from SD Bullion. New customers get gold or silver at spot by visiting sdbullion.com/new. Thank you so much for watching. I do sincerely appreciate it. So the first part here says a commenter on the Schiff Gold Facebook page recently asserted that silver coins are junk. Why? Because, as he put it, silver is not rare, and the silver-gold ratio investment premise is obsolete in this industrial, computerized, and AI world. And now we're not going to go over the second part here in this video. I just want to talk about silver's rarity. Now, it's actually kind of funny that he says silver coins are junk, because there are some silver coins out there that we literally refer to as junk silver, but not because of the rarity of the silver, just because these coins are made from 90% silver, 10% copper. They were circulated in our coinage, so a lot of them are worn down. So that's why we call them junk silver. It has nothing to do with the silver in them being rare or not. And then he literally says silver is not rare. So let's break that part down. Silver is relatively abundant compared to gold, but it is extremely rare compared to copper. About 1.5 million tons of silver have been mined in history, compared to 700 million tons of copper, and copper is rare compared to iron. Over 3 billion tons of iron have been mined. So when people say silver is just an industrial metal, well, when we compare silver to these other industrial metals, copper and iron, clearly it's much more rare, which is why we actually call silver a precious metal. Now, it may be the least rare of the precious metals, but rarity does not necessarily translate to price. So let's now look at silver's rarity as compared to gold. Here we are looking at the number of ounces of gold and silver that have been mined so far this year in 2023. So for gold, we have about 76 million ounces. For silver, we have about 611 million ounces. And if you do the math, gold is about 8 times rarer than silver. So yeah, silver is fairly abundant as compared to gold. However, when we compare gold to platinum and palladium, we can see for both of these, there's around 4 million, maybe 4.5 million for palladium, give or take, ounces that have been mined so far this year. So platinum and palladium are actually both exceedingly rarer than gold, but they don't cost more than gold. Gold is worth more per ounce than platinum and palladium. So rarity does not necessarily translate to price or where the price should be. Price is actually based on supply and demand. How much do we need this metal? How many ounces are being used every single year? In the article, they go on to say silver is also becoming increasingly rare based on demand. There has been a market deficit over the last 2 years, and that is expected to increase. In fact, one study estimates the solar energy sector alone will require over 20% of the current annual silver supply by 2027, and by 2050, solar panel production will use approximately 85 to 98% of the current global silver reserves. This does not take into account all the other things that silver is being used for. Silver is in wiring for electronics, phones, computers, cars, all that kind of stuff. According to the Silver Institute, when we break down demand last year in 2022, we can see industrial demand was actually at 49%. Photography, jewelry, and silverware sits at 26%, and 25% is for bars and coins. So if industrial demand increases dramatically with all of this need for silver in solar panels, but we're still needing silver for bars and coins, photography, jewelry, silverware, all these other things, it could get kind of crazy. Record global silver demand and a lack of supply upside contributed to last year's 237.7 million ounce market deficit. It was the second consecutive annual deficit in a row. The Silver Institute called it possibly the most significant deficit on record. It also noted that the combined shortfalls of the previous 2 years comfortably offset the cumulative surpluses of the last 11 years. So for 11 years in a row, they were actually mining more silver than we were using, but over the last 2 years, well, that's not the case. There has been a deficit, and we've offset all of those gains over the last 11 years in just 2. The bottom line is that silver is rare in both absolute terms and in relation to demand for the metal, and I could not agree more. So this quote at the start, silver isn't scarce, I would say that has absolutely been debunked. And not only is silver rare, but it is in fact getting rarer year after year as more of the available silver is being used up for industry. Not to mention the fact that a lot of these products which are made out of silver eventually just get thrown into a landfill somewhere, and the silver is then no longer recoverable. Think about all of the gold that has been mined over the years. This goes into jewelry, gold coins, gold bars. Well, those are held on tightly. That's not going into any landfills. But a lot of the silver, because it is used for industry, just gets thrown away, and we're never going to see that silver again. I think that everyone should be stacking silver. I personally have been buying it for over 5 years now, and I'm going to continue to buy it because I know that it is rare, and I feel like the price is actually extremely low as compared to where it could be in the coming decades. So I think it's a very wise place to store my wealth. Silver has been money for thousands of years, and it still is money today. No matter what happens to the dollar, my wealth will be protected because I put it into a different system, a better system. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next one. Silver Dragons out.